Speaking of open-closed principle in Solid, open-closed principle is based on two sentences. First is open for extension, second is closed for modification. They are vague sentences that you probably couldn't understand by your own, but when you understand and go deep dive to its meaning, you will probably get it. So I have another definition which I came up with, and it's different than OS in this vague word. It's a definition I like. It's called open for improvement with an ease of scaling your code without modifying your existing code unless business requirements or logic has changed. So this is the kind of definition which I really think it makes some sense, where you allow your code to scale by adding more code to it so you can improve it, but also you can't modify your old existing working and complete code unless there is some business requirements that must be fulfilled. That's kind of my definition in open-closed principle. You can think of it as approach of think of potential business requirement changes and plan for it. That's why you will make a room for improvement, and this is why open for extension in open-closed principle is being said. There is an open or room for an improvement. Right, moving on, let's visualize our app in decoding utility class and see how is our app defined right now. So we have this is our class, decoding utility class, and we have two main functions there. Is the serial correct and decode serial? They are both our main functions. So now we have our Samsung brand, and now we need to make a connection between the function is serial correct and decoding serial. So we need this connection, and after adding this connection, we know that we have to handle the other case, which is LG case. So let's add our LG brand here. After adding it, we need to decode it, and we need to check is the serial correct based on the case of LG. So we need some way to communicate with this brand. Alright, that's really great. Now what happens after creating this brand and making connection between the function and the brand? We have the type, we have the country, we have the date, which we make some operations based on the data structure we have, and we also do the same for LG, and those types are based on the three hash maps that we have in our decoding utility class. As there are four actually, since we have type and year and month which on its own, and we have country, so we have four hash maps, and each hash map is connected to whatever it's needed. So somehow now we have like 6 connections to these hash maps. That's a tight coupling. So what happens if we just added another brand, like let's say Toshiba? After adding Toshiba, we will have another connection with is serial correct and decoding serial. And after the connection, we will need the same types and date and country, and those three variables will be required to have connection with the hash map. And now we have this ugly diagram, and if we wanted to add any other brand, we will require to have a connection as well with the serial and decode. And after making the connection, we will have to handle the type and date and country. Even so, each one has different implementation, and some might have some way, like it's really tightly coupled that every brand must have those kind of values, and each of these value must be required to use our hash maps So that's kind of highly coupled system which is really complicated. All elements combine and get through each other. So that's really a big problem that we have. So how can we improve open closed principle? How can we improve our code by using open closed principle? We can actually split our workload in multiple classes. We can abstract the implementation of the decoding tools to multiple classes, so we can have like a separation of work, and we don't really focus all our code into certain implementation. Also, we want to allow only decoding tools to only know about the results, and we don't want to have the implementation embedded in this class. And this is the beginning of how can we refactor our spaghetti code, which we have seen as this one, to a better refactored code that can be scaled and can get improved. And you will see that in actions next.